Ping, probably the most used word and excuse in the whole of PvP, especially in Bridge. Ping is the network latency between a player's computer and a multiplayer server. Oftentimes, when someone loses a game, they tend to blame it on the opponent's ping being too low or too high. However, does it really matter? Does high or low ping really give an advantage? Today, we will find out if ping really matters in MMC Bridge.
PvP is an essential part of Bridge, the decider of which team gets pressure on the other. Winning more PvP means that you'll have more chances to bypass and more chances to score. Not only that, it plays a crucial part in defense. Sometimes it determines if the opponent scores or not. Ping plays a huge part in two aspects of PvP, trading and getting last hits. In these clips you will see what happens when someone with 5 MS trades with someone with 170 MS. And also what happens when both of them are at 1 HP.
However, even though low ping players have an obvious advantage in golden fights or trades, there are some techniques high ping players can do to aid them in when fighting on the bridge. Some examples are bow tricking, Latvianing, and hit selecting. Bow tricking is a technique where you manage to land both an arrow and a critical sword hit at the exact same time. This makes the game think that the arrow hit is a sword hit, so the combined hit does double the damage. Ping is significantly easier on higher ping as you get a longer time frame where you can land the sword hit after the arrow hit. It is a pretty powerful technique if used correctly in every PvP scenario. Latvianing is a technique where you block your sword at the last hit to tank one more hit so you can get the last hit on your opponent. This will allow a higher ping player to get last hits on the low ping player, as Latvianing is more difficult and inconsistent for low ping players.
Hit selecting is where you time your hit right after your opponent lands a hit on you. It basically lets you get a double hit without sprint resetting or a movement change. A double hit is very useful in Bridge because getting a double hit on your opponent will usually result in your opponent getting knocked off the bridge. A high ping player who hit selects against a low ping player who doesn't hit select will result in the high ping player winning almost, if not all, of the PvP trades on the top bridge. It is also a useful mechanic in goal room fights due to you being able to start combos easier.
In Bridge, the phrase "I was in" is used frequently when somebody races. However, does ping really matter while racing in Bridge? An experiment was conducted where a low and high ping player holds W all the way into the goal, and sure enough, the low ping players always scores first. However, the difference is not very big and it will only impact the result of the race very rarely.
Bow boosting. The mechanic that has blown up in popularity ever since prominent shorts YouTuber popularized it. It is especially OP in Bridge, as it is a very versatile technique that can be used on offense, defense, and races. It is way easier to time bow boosts with a low ping because the arrows are instant. However, it is way harder to defend a high ping player who is good at bow boosting. Although bow boosting through an opponent is more OP for a high ping player, they can't change directions mid bow boost as well as low ping players do.
Bypassing can be extremely frustrating for high ping players due to their blocks disappearing every time they try to block a person off, which is an extremely huge disadvantage to them. An advantage high ping players have in bypassing is when someone hits them while they are wall running. They take forwards and sideways KB, which makes it easier for them to clutch or land on side elements. When low ping players get knocked sideways, they take little forwards KB, which makes it more difficult for them to clutch or land on the side elements.
There are also rarely used techniques, such as ghost block clutching and hitting people through windows. It is extremely difficult to clutch on ghost blocks as the blocks will almost instantly disappear, and it is impossible to hit people through windows as the glass reappears back instantly. In conclusion, Low ping is better than high ping, but only to a certain extent. For instance, even though 5ms players will have way lesser blocks that disappear and will likely get last hits. Things like hit selecting are very inconsistent, and they take too little KB forwards when knocked sideways to be able to clutch on side islands compared to high pingers. The majority of the bridge community, including me, agrees that a 30 to 60 ms ping range is the optimal ping for MMC bridge.
Thank you all for watching the video. This wouldn't be possible without everyone who helped with the voiceover. With that being said, please look at the channel in the description down below and consider subscribing to them.